Hello, Tony. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you? Whom are we waiting for? It's already past 4.
Okay, it's just about 4 at my hand.
Yeah. Okay, at my hand it's just 4 p.m. So I officially welcome everybody to the Techy Accountant Summit. It's so good to be here again. It's been quite a year, and I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy everybody is here. It's good to see the faces of the panelists. Thank you for taking our time to join us today. It's such an honor. I'm really glad to mingle with people of caliber like you all. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Techy Accountant, and this is the platform that has given us all the opportunity to gather in one place to discuss the future of the industry and how we can help professionals become the best at what they do. We'll just take out a few minutes to wait for more people to join. I can see that the numbers are coming up, and a lot more people are joining. So if you are here, you can make use of the chat section and tell us where you are joining from. What part of the country are you joining from? I'm trying to catch up. Hi, Ayinola, good to see you. Thank you very much. Hi, Leo Umana, thank you very much. It's good to have you here too. Thanks for taking our time to join us. Hello, Mr. Godwin. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon. Please, I can't hear you. If you cannot hear, please check your volume on your end, or maybe it's the network. Hopefully you catch up soon. So for every other person online, kindly tell us where you're joining us from. Hi, James Olukayode from Lagos. It's good to have you. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, it's okay now. That's great. So can you tell us where you're joining from? Hi, Judith from Lagos. Okay, why Lagosians flooding us today? We are those from other parts of the country. From Ojodu, Lagos. Okay, Lagosians are actually driven people, so I'm not surprised. I'm sure the others will catch up with time. Hi from Otta. Hi, Precious from Abuja. Precious is one of the Techy Accountant Season 5 participants. So they are part of people that are graduating today. So hi, Precious. Others, please tell us where you're joining from. Just use the chat box. Tell us where you're joining from. Let the panelists meet you. Let them get to know you. Josephine, hi Josephine, thanks for joining us. I believe that you're here because you saw the ad or somebody told you about it. All the same, we're glad to have you all here. And I can assure you that it's going to be a very insightful session. You're going to leave here a better professional with you would have been empowered with what you need, the knowledge you need, the advice, the insight you need to move forward in your career. And it's very timely because we're at the end of the year and a lot of people are planning for 2021. So you come in to learn from the experts. So when they tell you what you need to know, you just take your jotter and include it in your plan for 2021. I'm here with mine, and I'm sure as the session progresses, we're going to be sharing tips. Are there more people who wants to tell us where you're joining from? The numbers are more than this, so just let's catch up. Hi, Jamila from Abuja. Hi, Jamila. Jamila is part of Season 5 participants, and she's also graduating today. Hi, Jamila. Okay. So others are waiting. Just tell us where you're joining from. Let's know where you're from. If you're from Lagos, Abuja, anywhere, let's just know where you're from. It's good. While we'll wait for people to catch up, it's good to know where you're joining from. We'll be starting anytime from now, and I presume that others will catch up as time goes on. Others will catch up. We'll be introducing our facilitators. Our guests for today. Sorry, I use facilitators a lot because we use them a lot in the academy. So apologies for that. Okay, hi everyone from Lagos. Is it just Lagos and Abuja people that saw this hat? Please, I want to see people from Kano, from Oyo, from at this point I have to ask Sarah. Sarah, you didn't invite your people. I've not seen somebody representing your state here. Ojuolakpe too.
My people are kind of today is a very busy day for them, so most of them they might not even be able to attend it.
Oh wow, even on a Sunday. That's interesting. I have the Fatai from Abuja. Thank you very much for joining us. I presume you can see me. I presume you can see the facilitators. I'm trying to catch up with the chat, and I think there's a question. Okay. Hi, Mr. Abubakar. Hi, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making time out to join us today. It's good to have you here. First of all, I would want to introduce the founder or the brain behind the whole idea of the Techy accountant, because the Techy accountant started from one person's idea. So what we see today, how big it has become, is somebody's idea. It was one person's idea, and over the years, it has grown to become what we have today. And even we are looking at exploring greater heights. I can assure you that by the time you're joining our next, it's not even going to be a summit, it's going to be a conference. You get, the first one was not a summit. So you can see that with every step, it's bigger and it's getting better. So let me introduce you to the founder of the Techy Accountant. She will be taking the floor from here, and then we progress. I think we've given enough time for people to join. I'm sure they will catch up as we progress. Just a minute. Okay. Can you see my screen just to confirm? Kindly let me know if you can see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to introduce the founder, who goes by the name Toyin Olufon. She's an INSEAD alumni, a chartered accountant with over 8 years of experience in the practice, in the industry. She has over 8 years of experience. In the course of her career or her journey, she has worked in several capacities. She has worked as a consultant to World Bank and Security and Exchange Commission. She has worked as a consultant to other private organizations too. She's a member of the Chartered Certified Accountants UK and a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ACA. Over the years, she has trained about 3,000 entrepreneurs and corporate employees across Nigeria and has provided qualitative professional advice to several clients across diverse areas of industry. She's presently the principal consultant for Lifort Consulting Limited. So in case you don't know, on the side, we run a consulting agency, a consulting firm, which we refer to as Lifort Consulting. And through our leadership, the company has amassed high-level acceptance and has been opportuned to provide value-adding services to major corporate, international, and indigenous organizations, resulting in fast-growing client base that has become an amiable fit in our evolution as a vital part of the firm's and clients' financial and economic structure advancement. And as we all know, she's the founder of the Techy Accountant Initiative. And the mission of the initiative is to bridge the educational gap between finance graduates and the skills demand in the financial labor market, thereby creating employment and enhancing quality professional education. Please, guys, welcome the founder of the Techy Accountant, Mrs. Toyin Olufon. Hello, ma.
Hi, Kemi. Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. Good day, everyone. I hope we're doing all well. Thank you for joining us today. And this is a summit. I'm 100% sure that you will have no regrets attending. It's definitely going to be a value-adding one. So please just pay attention and try to be as attentive as much as possible. So I'd like to just give a brief speech or a talk. Yes, anyone. You're welcome to the Techy Accountant Summit. Are you the next generation leading finance practitioner? This is a rhetorical question we must all ask ourselves continuously. Technology has evolved and we continue to alter the landscape of our profession. From big data, data analytics, and data visualization, which are at their prime in terms of usage and advancements, to machine learning, robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, and intelligence augmentation, which are emerging. The future disruptors are embedded and self-serve analytics, deep learning, and blockchain technology. In this part of the world, our educational system is not quick to adapt to these changes. Unfortunately, we have a borderless world, and this has made competition stiffer than ever. Also, but fortunately, the new borderless world could be an asset if only we have the right skills. I have two examples that I'd like to share just to expatiate on those points. So right now, I know of a firm here in Nigeria, even though they are based here in Nigeria, their head of finance is actually based outside Nigeria. So ideally, before the age of digitalization, the age of the internet, before now, definitely the head of finance will be within Nigeria. But now the person is working remotely from another country, right? Also, I know of a situation, in fact, someone was telling me, he shared this story with me yesterday. He talked about how he was able to get a client from UK, despite the fact that he's in Nigeria. So the point is, if you don't have the right skill, it's easier than before for companies to have access to people with the right skill. So if you don't want to be out of the market, if you don't want to become obsolete, you have to just upskill, right? And that's why I will always say that our competition is no more local. Our competition are not the people working, your colleagues working here in Nigeria. Actually, our competition is every other, colleague that is working around the world. And that's why it's very important we take technology serious. The Techy Accountant is an initiative of the Leaford Foundation with the aim of raising a generation of premium and technology-savvy finance professionals to bridge the unemployability gap through practical learning, shared knowledge, and mentorship. The vision was sold to the facilitators and mentors who are very experienced professionals, and they willingly jumped on board without the promise of any financial consideration, and they are still actively part of the academy to date, and to them, we are grateful. We commenced the first session in August 2018, and we have successfully concluded 4 seasons with about half of the participants becoming gainfully employed, giving finance professionals a hope and a practical experience of the success they can attain in their career. In 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we launched the Virtual Academy, even though we were skeptical of the possibility of the level of impact we would make. But the impact made and the results we have recorded thus far has been accomplishing and satisfactory. Now we have participants from other countries like Kenya, Cameroon, and Ghana. Today, season 5 participants are graduating, and I would like to congratulate the graduates for staying true despite the challenges with virtual learning, especially in this part of the world where internet access is challenging and the intensity of the class schedule. Trust me, the academy is usually intense. Definitely, a few of them will be talking afterwards, and I'm sure they will share their experience with you, right? It's usually intense, and it's only someone that is serious-minded that will see it to the end. It's just the truth. To achieve one of our core goals, that is practical learning, we have an e-learning platform on today's relevant courses taught with effective teaching methodology for finance professionals to learn at their convenience and pace. Actually, we have an academy, an e-academy, which is an e-learning platform. It's actually on our website, and we have started populating courses. By next year, we'll have new courses. We'll have programming for finance professionals, data analytics, and I think I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. I think I will make mention of it later on after he has had his session, but someone really profound in the accounting industry in West Africa is joining us as a facilitator. And trust me, you just have to take that course. All right. Also, we have the Techy accountant community connecting all finance professionals in the world and fostering shared knowledge. Presently, we have about 1,000 professionals subscribed to our platforms, and we have people from different jurisdictions. We have people from China, we have people from US, we have people from Kenya, from Rwanda, and of course, we have a lot of people from Nigeria also on the platform. And the whole essence of the platform, yes, so you can see this is what the community looks like. In case you've not joined the community, this is what it looks like. And on a daily basis, there are new contents that are being posted on the community. And the whole idea of the community, as I've said, is to foster shared knowledge, right? That as finance professionals, first of all, nobody is an island of knowledge. Nobody knows it all. But with this community, for example, probably you're working and you're not certain of something, and probably you're the only finance person in your organization, or you just need a second opinion. On the community, you could just post your question and someone else will respond. The person could be in UK, someone else will respond. Also, we have people publish their article because it's also a way for you to have a digital footprint, right? In fact, I said people get jobs through different means right now, nowadays. So for some, this could be like your CV bank, whereby you go for an interview and just say, oh, just check, click on my name, and all the articles you've published on the community pops up. You know, even before the employer gets to have an experience of you, they are able to experience you through your writings also. So I would like to encourage you, if you've not joined us, please join us. We would like to have you on the platform also. And we share job opportunities. I know of people that have gotten jobs through the platform. Like they got the advert on the platform, they applied and they got jobs. Yes, so that's one of the benefits. Like there are numerous benefits why you should be on the community. And as I said, there's a lot you're going to learn on the community. For every attendee, I hope you are with your notepad. Please, how do you join, please? Someone will share the link right now, please. For every attendee, I hope you are with your notepads and pens, because our speakers today are one of the finest in the world. And it would be a missed opportunity if you do not draw out of them as much knowledge and virtue as possible. This is my one kobo advice. Please feel free to ask questions. Welcome everyone. The Techy accountant is a movement. My name is Toyin Olufon and I'm a Techy accountant. Are you? So answer, are you a Techy accountant? All right, guys, thank you very much. And Kemi, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. That was a really nice way to end that speech. Are you a Techy accountant? That's a question for you to answer yourself. So moving on, we want to keep to time, and so we are moving on quickly. I have not introduced myself properly. My name is Kemi, and I work with Techy accountants. Yeah, that's about it. So we're moving on, and the first thing we'll be taking right now is would be having a conversation, or would listen to one of the graduates of the Techy Accountant Season 5. We'll be listening to her speak. So I want to just quickly show you our profile. Okay, sorry, just a minute while I do this. Oh, quick one. I think I missed something. So I'm sure Mrs. Toyin forgot to announce this, but we have something for you. So we're taking this a notch higher, and then we have an announcement. So at the end of this summit, we're going to be doing networking. Are you surprised? Virtual networking. I don't know if you've done it before, but we have something. Don't let me let the cat out of the bag. It's too early. So I'm pretty excited about this. And towards the end, we'll be telling you how this is going to take place. So just stay till the end. It's going to be worth it, I tell you. It's going to be worth it. So let's move on quickly. So we have our first speaker for tonight and amongst the Techy Accountants Season 5. Her name is Ojuolape Falode. I hope I pronounced it right. Please pardon me. Her name is Ojuolape. And as you can see, she is a certified accountant. She just finished the Techy Accountant Season 5. She's a mid-level finance professional. She's resident in Ibadan. So she's one of the virtual participants. And I can tell you for a fact that Ojuolape is a very committed person. And during this 2 months of training, she's been really committed to the course and very active and participating in all the classes. So I would allow Ojuolape come and tell us briefly about her experience at the academy. Okay, Ojuolape, over to you.
Thank you, Kemi. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I want to first of all thank the Fort Academy. I want to thank Techy Accountants, Mrs. Olufon, for the privilege. Techy Accountants, I would say in a summary, is a premium finishing school for the accountants. The reason I called it a finishing school is because when you finish, especially the Nigerian educational system, a lot of things are not brought to bear about this profession. They don't tell you what it will be like on ground. I came into Techy Accountants looking for an avenue just to brush up on my IFRSs and my IASs, but I got way more than I bargained for. It's been a great experience. We had mentorship, we had people talk to us about artificial intelligence, database, big data, our role in the future as finance professionals. And I keep saying I got way more than I thought I was going to be getting. And I'll recommend it to any graduate, any present professional that needs to upskill. They are up to date. Please join the Techy Accountant community. I learned a lot. It was rigorous, but it was well worth it. The assessments were interesting because they kept spurring me to want to know more, and then I got the opportunity to network with both young and upcoming accountants, and it lets you know, okay, I'm still relevant. These are the things I don't know. This is my knowledge gap. And it doesn't just show you your knowledge gap, it bridges that gap. I want to thank my fellow Techy accountant colleagues, my fellow Techy accountants. They were all committed. They attended lectures, asked questions, and every question asked, no matter how funny sounding, every question asked was addressed. Nobody looked at your qualifications. They brought the knowledge to bear. So come as you are. Don't come thinking, oh, I'm overskilled or I'm underskilled. No, you meet a community of people ready to teach you what is relevant now and show you what is relevant in the future to our profession as accountants. So I want to thank Techy Accountants. I want to thank the Lefort Foundation, because I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought I was just going to be attending lectures and learning, but I got way more than, mentorship opportunities. They taught us on even accounting packages, enterprise packages, and I got to meet a dream mentor, Chief Omuya. So I just want to thank the Techy Accountant Academy. Thank you, Mrs. Olufon.
All right. Thank you, Ojolafe. Thank you very much. Like I always say to you, thanks for bringing your positive energy on board. It was actually a pleasure working with you. She would always ask her questions if she's not clear about anything. And she was very up to date too, taking her assessment as it went due. And also thank you too for making our work easy. Thank you very much. I think that's about it. If there is any question you have for the Techy accountant, you can drop them in the chat box and I would ask and it will be responded to. So thank you very much. So moving on to the next item on the list. We have our first session, our first speaker of the day. Now, this is really grand and I can't even introduce him. So I have to give this to Mrs. Toyin Olufon to do the introduction, the appropriate introduction. I can just tell you that he's the father of accounting in Nigeria. So for everybody that is a finance professional here, this is a big deal for you. Whether you're young or you know him or you don't know him, it is actually a very big deal. So I'll be passing the baton to Mrs. Toyin and she would be doing the introduction. Let me share his profile, his brief profile. If I decide to share his profile, it's a presentation on its own. So I will just share a brief profile with you.
Kevin, that's actually apt. If you are to share his full profile, it's a presentation on its own. That is apt. I agree with you.
Okay, I'm trying to share his profile. Just give me a minute, please.
Can you, or I should just go ahead? Okay, great. Yes. Our next speaker, or our first speaker for today, is Chief Dr. J.O. Omoya. Chief Omoya graduated with first-class BSc honors degree in accounting from Ahmadu Bello University Zaria and MSc in accounting and finance from the same institute. Chief is a recipient of several awards, prizes, honors, and awards. He's a fellow stroke member of many professional bodies, among which are the British Institute of Management, the Chartered Association of Certified Accountants, FCCA, the Institute of Management Consultants, Nigeria Institute of Management, the Institute of Directors, and the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, among others. In the course of Chief Dr. Omoya's working experience, he traversed both in the public and private sector as a training accountant, senior consultant, lecturer, assistant general manager, deputy general manager, director, managing director, and chief executive officer of first-class organizations. He has served as a board of directors and trustees of about 17 nationally and internationally acclaimed financial organizations, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, and is still serving on some of them. He has written books on accounting and has presented papers at conference, workshops, and seminars. Okay, let me just get to the book that we all know, Business Accounting, by Frank Hood and J.O. Omoya. How many of you read that book? Please, if you read that book, just type in the chat box. Tell us that you actually read that book. So this is Chief, and it's an honor to introduce him and to have him been part of this event. Chief is someone that has blessed my life within the little space of time that I've gotten acquainted with him. And as I said, it's such an honor to have him here. Sir. Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I hope you heard what I said. I hope. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Toyin, and thank you all Techy accountants over there. I thank you all the participants. let me quickly correct a wrong impression. J.O. Omoya is not the father of accounting in Nigeria. I am too small to wear that crown. I think that crown belongs to Akintola Williams. He is the doyen of the accountancy profession in Nigeria. I think it is he we should call the father of accounting in Nigeria. But to you, the young ones, when I say the young ones, those who were in school or in the university as from 1982, who read my book, I think that's what gave you the wrong impression that J.O. Omoya is the father of accounting. But I'm very grateful for your kind words. Do I go quickly, straight away to the presentation of my paper at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please make it possible for me to share my paper so that you can see.
All right, that's been done. You can share now.
Okay, unfortunately, I can share. It's not coming up for me to be able to share. Can you take the screen a little bit away so that I can see where the icon of share is? The icon to share is not showing on my screen.
Okay, should I share for you on my site since I have your slides?
Just make it possible for me to see where to share. It's covered up by the screen.
Okay. Okay, let me see how I can adjust it. Gallery. Is it better now, sir?
I still cannot see the icon for sharing. That's the problem. The icon to share is not showing. It's been covered.
It's actually beneath. It's down.
I'm right there, but it's not showing up. It's not coming up.
Oh, okay, sir.
The icon is not coming up to enable me click on it. Can you release the icon? That's the problem. Move the cursor. I'm moving the cursor quite all right. Oh, well, okay, try and show it from your end.
All right, just
project it. It will not come up.
All right, sir. I will do that now.
Okay. That's it. The next slide, please. Just keep going. It would have been easier if I'm changing it from my side. Okay, that is the topic before us. First of all, I want to thank Choi, who gave me the opportunity to present this talk to you. She has asked me to, speak with you on the skills you need to build to become, to have a successful career. But on my own, I decided to expand it by talking to you, not just on the skills, but also on the attributes that you need to have for a successful career and also for life, because living is more than having a successful career. So the topic is slightly extended. And as young professionals who are aspiring to be successful, not just in career, but in life generally, I'll be talking to you about all this. But let me quickly say that 15 minutes is too small to cover this aspect, but I'll try as much as possible because this topic, as expanded, is enough for a book of over 100 pages. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, the first thing you should do is ask yourself, what is it that you want in life? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? What's your ambition? And what will you want to be remembered for when you leave this world? I want to believe that most of you are in finance or accounting, but there are others who may be joining the academy later on in life who may not be accountants, but may want to get some idea. So my topic today is not just limited to accounting. It can be applied in various disciplines or in various professions. So what I put down as the first skill that you should acquire is the skill of introspection. What do I mean by that? Simply ability to lock yourself up in your room and ask yourself some questions and try to provide your answer. Like I've started with, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What's your ambition? That is, you have to cultivate the skill of being able to talk to yourself from time to time. And the answers you obtain to those questions will actually help you to become successful in your career and in life generally. But as you get along, you will discover that you may need other people to help you. But at the end of the day, you have to take ownership of whatever you decide to do in life. So that's the first thing. Then as I go on, I discovered that as young professionals, you are going to face a lot of challenges in life, and I'll be talking about that. But the first thing, after asking yourself the question, the next step you should should take is, what do I need to acquire? What degree, what diploma, what qualifications do I need to acquire to be able to succeed in this career? So you should try as much as possible to get the degrees and the diplomas you need in your choosing profession. But before I get to that, let me mention very briefly some of the attributes that you need to acquire before you can become successful. The first one that I put down is wisdom. You need to be a wise person. And those of us who are Christians, you recall that in Hosea 4, it's written there that my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. And what is knowledge? Knowledge are those attributes that you have to be able to succeed in whatever you are doing. And wisdom is the practical application of knowledge. The next that I mentioned that you need to have to be successful in your career is that you must present yourself as somebody who is trustworthy, who is honest, and who has integrity. Those three combined, those three attributes, you must have them in good measure to be able to succeed in life and in your career. And again, because I'm a Christian, I always try to draw a lot of examples from the Bible. And I take the character of Joseph as a case study of what human being you need to be if you want to have these three attributes. Go and study the story of Joseph in the Bible. We all know that he was a shepherd, somebody who looks after the cows, the oxes, and the goats, and the rams in the field. But because he was destined to be great, because he was trustworthy, he was honest, and a person of integrity, he was able to rise to become the prime minister of Egypt. If you read his story very well, you'll see the kind of temptations, the kind of challenges he went through in life. But at the end of the day, what happened? He succeeded. Therefore, young ladies and young men, I charge you all, and particularly those of you who have attended this course, to be mindful of your character and your lifestyle, because this may well account for your success or failure in life. Next slide, please. The other attribute that you need to have, or the skill, if you want to put it that way, is that you need financial literacy and financial education. And financial literacy is not just the ability to read and understand financial statements. It is the ability to read, to identify the strength of and weaknesses of any business. It also extends to the ability to engage others to do for you where you do not have the requisite skill and time to do yourself. In fact, most successful leaders are those who engage those who are better than them to do the work, and they take the glory. I remember a one-time head of state, General Babangida. He had that quality of going out to look for people, credible people who are excellent in their choosing profession to do the work, and then he takes the credit. Now, the other thing I also mentioned here is, well, we all know that people might say that some are born lucky, but then not everybody is lucky in life. You can even create luck the same way you create money. And if you want to be luckier than others and create money instead of working for money, then I charge you to sharpen your financial literacy and invest in your education. By attending this Techy Academy, you are investing in yourself. And there is a quote I saw somewhere where it is said that the poor man works for money, but the rich man creates money and makes money to work for him. But you will not be able to do this if you do not invest in yourself. And I have discovered in life that very many rich people get ridiculously rich just because of ideas, just because of an agreement they have signed with somebody, just because of influence, and just because of information. So later on in our presentation, we'll be mentioning what you need to do to be able to create some of this. Next. There are many great opportunities around us from which we can take advantage and get rich financially in life. Unfortunately, often we fail to see them because we do not develop our financial literacy, education, and knowledge. And at this point, I want to mention that some of these opportunities, you may not see them with your naked eyes. There's what I call the mind eye. All of us have the mind eye. As I'm talking now, let your mind go straight to your house. You see where your bed is. You see where your table is. Go to the village. You see where your father's room is. Even as we are talking now, you'll be able to see the town or the city that you first visited as a young person. You are seeing it just as I'm saying it. Therefore, try as much as possible to train your mind eye in everything that you do. And I put there that it does not take a lot of money to make money or to train yourself, but it takes a little money and a lot of time. Time, we say, is money, and you have time in abundance. But the question is, how well do you use that time? Next slide, please. I put there that most people never get wealthy because they are not trained financially and that they could not easily recognize opportunities even when such opportunities are staring them in the face. And I say that spend money and create time to train yourself financially. I mean, in areas of your choosing profession, it will benefit you immensely. And I should say it loud and clear that in your efforts to get rich, those who really believe that money is what they want in life, but I'll come to it later on, that there's more to life than money. You will gain, and at times you will lose. But the most important thing is keep moving. People never win because they are more afraid of losing than they are of being inspired to win. Losing in life is part of the process of success. If you cultivate the habit of avoiding, you will avoid success if you avoid failure. In other words, never be afraid of failing. If you fall, rise again. Let your joy be that, oh, I have never failed, but that each time I fail, I rise again and I get higher. Again, people also talk of risks. Don't be afraid of risks. Risks and failures will always be there. But what we must do is that we must learn to manage them ourselves. Learn to manage them, don't avoid them. Next slide, please. At this juncture, it is pertinent to remind you that the richest people did not just get rich simply because of their age or because of their educational qualifications. Some of you would have heard that even Bill Gates himself was said to have dropped out of Harvard University. But today, he is the richest or one of the richest people in the world, and he's not yet 70. What he did is that he invested in his financial literacy and knowledge of how to make money to work for him. I therefore urge you to look around your immediate environment, identify a few rich people around you, and find out how they got their wealth. Learn from their experiences. Listen to speeches such as the one we are having today, and they could be beneficial. And the gains you derive from listening to speeches of this nature can make a great difference in your life, if only you can pick one or two things from the presentation. Another thing I want to urge you is learn to share your ideas with people who are knowledgeable than you. Learn to share don't be afraid to talk to people. You may be surprised. You may be in the same class. Somebody who may be in a lower class might have some knowledge you don't have. Never be afraid to go to such people to ask questions. And I also say that you should keep company of people from whom you can gain spiritually and financially. But don't forget, be choosy about the people you mix with. Don't mix with every geek and jack. Like we say in Ibira, in my own area, if a dog is in the habit of going about with goats, it will not take long before that dog will start eating leaves. I wish I can say it in Yoruba. Dogs don't eat leaves, but it is goats that eat leaves. And what we are saying here is that if your dog is in the habit of going about with goats, it will not take long before your dog will start eating leaves. Next slide, please. Or do I go on from my, yes. Now, what I mentioned earlier that there are some challenges we are going to meet in life, and I want to briefly talk about them. As young graduates, the first challenge you are going to face is the challenge of getting a good job. Not just any job, but a good job. And the youth of today are really facing these challenges. I advise you to look more in the direction of the private sector. During my own days, government was the major employer, but thank God, nowadays the private sector has taken over. And I urge you to look in that direction if you are going to look for jobs. Look in the direction of telecommunication. Look in the direction of the oil and gas. Those are areas that offer job opportunities that the young people will be looking at. Next. Second one.
Okay, quick one, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You have about 3 minutes more, sir.
3 minutes more. My God.
I know you have a lot. We've agreed that you're going to send it to them.
Let me mention one before I go to this. Now, young boys, young girls, you are going to face some challenges in your marriage. Please make sure you pray to God to get a right husband and a right wife. You are going to have challenges of friendship. Make sure you have some good friends. Let me now quickly go to some other things. Tutelage and apprenticeship are things you cannot run away from if you want to be successful in your career. learn from those who are ahead of you. Talk to some seniors. Like those who are lawyers, young wigs are seen to be carrying bags of the seniors and going to court. By just going to court and listening to what the judges are saying, you learn a lot. The same thing will apply to accountancy and other things. The other thing I want to mention quickly before I round off is that you must learn to read widely. And for those of you who are students, while you are reading, please write a lot. If you spend 1 hour to read, spend 2 hours to write. You gain a lot by so doing. If you want to be successful in your career, please create a niche for yourself. Have a reputation that people can recognize and recommend you for. Now, take note that when you start working in your career, 80% of your success will depend on how you manage your interpersonal relationships. Only 20% of your knowledge of accounting will help you. How you relate with people matter a lot. So you must really, really mention that. I pray that, I have asked Joey to make sure that the full paper that I've developed is about 20 pages or so, let it be made available to all of you so that you can create time to read them, because there are a lot of things that I have mentioned there, which time will not permit me to mention at this stage. But by way of closing my presentation, I'll quickly mention some other things. Be ambitious, dream big, and work to achieve what you want to achieve. Learn from your mistakes and move on in life. Don't spend time regretting what you have not done. Mistakes are part of life. Make mistakes and move on. Have confidence in yourself. Try to avoid self-pity. If you don't have confidence in yourself, you will not succeed in life. And even when you don't know something, don't be afraid to say, I don't know it, and then ask people who know to tell you. Another important thing you need to have, be very diligent. And I've given an example there of 2 sentences, the same words, but the omission of a comma makes the difference. And what is it? Release, not to be executed. Release not to be executed. The same sentence, but different meaning. As accountants, as techy accountants, you have to be extremely, very, very careful in all to do. Be positive and be forward-looking always. Yes, it's good occasionally to look back where we have made mistakes, but your goal should be going forward. So on that note, because I don't want to be asked that I have overspent, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. Some of you are meeting for the first time. I hope that this opportunity will afford us, this meeting will afford us an opportunity to interact. My WhatsApp numbers is there, my email, I have given it at the end of the paper. You can, send me an email and I'll endeavor to respond. So on this note, thank you very much, Tony, for setting up this foundation, this academy. The Lord is your strength, and whatever we can do to help you to succeed, we will do it. And to all of you, the participants and our anchor person, Kemi, God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. The truth is that Chief has a lot to say. He shared his presentation with me yesterday, and my reaction was, I actually screamed. I'm like, wow.
Okay, I think the network is frozen at the other end. I can see that from the chat, everybody is saying thank you. Thank you so much, sir. The chat box is buzzing with so much thank you. Guys, please let's appreciate Chief for taking time out for taking time out to do this with us. Thank you very much, sir. Personally, I've learned a lot.
Thank you very much to all of you. I wish I'll have a longer time next time so that we can really tell you what we have gone through, especially some of the personal experiences that we have during our working life, which can be very beneficial. But I'll be available privately to share with you whatever questions you want me to answer for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We're moving on, but quickly before we move on, I can see a lot of people are still saying thank you. Yes, I'm glad we appreciate him taking our time to do this for us today. And I don't want us to take what we've heard with levity. It might seem like we've always heard something like that, but when you're hearing it from someone who has achieved a lot in the course of his career, it hits differently. I want us to take something. The first point he said is introspection, which is very, very important. Even much more as we go into a new year, it is important that we sit down and we do this. And I think that this would help us realign ourselves even for 2021. And thank you very much, Chief. Everybody's still saying thank you. Okay, we will be sharing the slides after this session, most likely during the week. So you can ask him your question personally and he would answer. We have a lot of questions. I can see one. We don't have a WhatsApp group, Jeremy, but we have a community which has been projected earlier. Just stick through to the end and I would share the link again. Thank you very much. We're moving quickly, fast. We're moving fast now, and we have another session. In a short while, I would be releasing, we have a poll. We want you to take a poll, and I would let you know when this is up. So please just answer. It's a yes or no, just 2 questions. Please answer, and so that we can plan ahead. It's important for every finance professional to be part of this. We have a Techy accountant. We have some Techy accountant alumni with us, and we'll be having one of them just share his experience briefly with us because our time is fast spent. Yes, you will get the slides. We get the slides, the full slides this week. So I would want to bring in Promise at this point. Okay, I don't think it's available now, so we'll skip that part.
Okay. May I request that you send them the full paper and not the slide? Because the slide has been very much edited, but the original paper will give a lot more than the slide. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That has been noted. So you will get the full paper. I'm told that the slide has been edited, so the paper will be sent this week by God's grace. Thank you. So we have another panel session, and this is supposed to be hosted by Mrs. Toyin. So we have a top finance professional in the house, and this time it's different, it's exciting because she's a woman, and I am so inspired and I can't wait to hear from her. In a minute I'll be showing us a profile so that we can get through to this. So it's a panel session, so we're leaving it open so that everybody can ask questions, because I know that it's going to be beneficial to both men and women. But then we want to hear from a woman's perspective, a journey through the corporate ladder. So yes, and this panel session will be hosted by Mrs. Toyin Olufon. But I have the privilege to introduce Mrs. Abisola Adefarati. And the panel session is titled How Female Accountants Can Rise to C-Suite Position. Now, this is important. And I'm sure that even if you're a man here, you would pick 1 or 2 points from what she's about to mention. So I want to quickly read out our bio. It's a shortened bio, but so that we don't take too much of time. Abisola is a seasoned business leader with 20 years experience in finance, accounting, auditing, consulting, and project management. She has held several roles of increasing responsibilities, including finance director for Coca-Cola Nigeria, finance director, Pernod Ricard Nigeria, commercial finance controller for the West Africa area at British American Tobacco, head of tax and treasury for the West African area at British American Tobacco. She has worked for 3 of the top 4 accounting firms, and she is a chartered accountant. She has studied and worked in 2 continents, Europe and Africa, over the last 20 years. She co-owns a non-profit foundation with her husband. The foundation has impacted over 3,000 Nigerians over the last 3 years in the areas of medical education support and poverty alleviation. It's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Abisola Adefarati. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I would let Mrs. Toyin take over. She's handling this panel session. So guys, please, as we progress, please drop your questions. Any questions you have, especially the female in course of your career, please drop your question in the chat box. We'll be monitoring and be asking questions. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, and before we start, let me just say my own thank you to Chief Omoya. It's, I don't know, like a dream come true to finally meet you, sir. I read your textbook. Thank you so much. And it's really exciting that, you know, seeing you, you're still strong, young, you know, and you're still impacting accountants, even so many years after. So thank you for all you have done and all you continue to do. You're such a blessing to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Adefara. It's a pleasure meeting you.
So I'm actually happy you did that. I was about to say this at the end of the speech, but the network actually bounced me off. Chief, from my conversation with Chief, he actually said that he only got royalties from the book 1 year after it was published. Ever since then, he has never gotten any other royalty from it or dividend in any other form. Then he said that we are his dividends, you know, same people that read his book and it contributed to our career. So I just thought to let everybody know that Chief, this is Chief. And this is what I wanted to say earlier also. He's coming on board as one of our facilitators in the Techy Accountant Academy. So he's going to be hosting a course next year. So look out for his course and make sure you buy his course. All right, to the business of the day or of this moment. We are having a panel session, and just as Kemi has read, the topic is how female accountants stroke finance professionals can rise to C-suite positions. From our profile, you could tell that she's very competent to answer this kind of questions because she's a female that's risen to the C-suite position. And I remember the first time I was reading her profile, I'm just like, wow, like that was the only thing I was saying. I was just like, wow, okay. That's quite inspiring. All right, back to the first question. According to the 2017 World Economic Forum Global Gender Gap Report, female talent remains one of the most underutilized business resources. In some industries like finance, this is especially clear. In finance, as career level rises, female representation declines. Although 46% of financial service employees are women, at the executive level, it's only 15%. The first question, why do you think this is so? Is there any gender discrimination in the industry?
Thank you, Toyin, for that question. And I'm going to answer the question by sharing my own personal story. I don't believe, and you know, this is my perspective, I do not believe that there is, you know, a deliberate attempt to keep women outside of C-suite or senior level positions. However, as we all know, getting to that level is tough, it's intense, and it takes a lot from anyone who is going to get to that position, either being a male or a female. And the question is, especially in Africa, where the role of a woman first is to be the nurturer in the family. The woman is expected to be the one who drops everything and attends to her husband and her children. It places a bigger burden sometimes on the woman. And, you know, as you start to progress in your career, the question keeps coming up. Should I stay in this career, or is this a good time for me to quit and focus on my family, right? In some other climates, you know, the balance between family and work is a bit more, it's easier for women to navigate, and I'm going to explain why. You know, with the fact that in Nigeria, I'll give you a personal example. My husband is also an accountant, so we have very similar profiles. But when my husband comes back from work, what he does is he changes, he sits in front of the television to catch up on his sports, and he starts to have fun with his children. Guess what happens to me when I come back from work? I go straight in my high-heeled shoes into the kitchen and I start cooking, right? Remember the last 10, 12, you know, sometimes the time that I get home is 11 p.m., right? The kids are sleeping, you know, but my husband is still waiting for me to make a meal for him because he likes to eat his wife's food, right? So trust me, trust me, the woman in Africa, and like I said, you know, in Europe, this may be different. In some other families, this may also be different, but I'm just sharing my own personal, my personal story. You know, you keep asking yourself that question. With all of the expectations that family places on me, am I going to be able to cope? And the reality is a lot of women look at these challenges and they decide that they would rather do something else. Don't also forget that in Africa, a lot of us are entrepreneurial. A lot of us grew up with parents who had businesses of their own, mothers who had their own businesses. And because a lot of these mothers are role models, a lot of these mothers, some of them were even housewives and they were our role models. We keep looking back to these role models to say, you know what, my mom, you know, was an entrepreneur and she did very well. So why am I stressing myself? So maybe it's time to quit now, you know, and focus on the family. Another thing that I find a bit challenging, and I've mentioned it as well, is the fact that when I joined British American Tobacco as an example, I remember being for a long time the first female at that time on the leadership team. So there had been people on the leadership team before me who were female, but they had left the company before I joined. So when I was in the company, at the time I was there, I was the only female on the leadership team for a while. So imagine how challenging that can be, right? You know, and then having the strength and the confidence to be able to contribute in a room that is dominated by women is a challenge, and it needs a lot of strength, needs a lot of perseverance. What I find with, you know, some women is when they face these challenges, it becomes a bit too much and they decide to quit as well. The other thing that I wanted to mention is the role that relationships play. And I'm grateful that Chief had mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
He said that for you to progress in your career, it is 20% the work you do, and then 80% of relationships. And remember, finance is mostly dominated by men. So sometimes we women find it difficult to build these relationships, and these relationships matter. When you're being discussed in the room for promotion, there has to be one person or two people in the room who would stand up for you and confidently say that you're able to perform excellently in that role. So what happens to the woman who has not been able to build that relationship? She may not have been able to build that relationship because of time constraints and family challenges. She may not have been able to build that relationship because, of course, a lot of these people that she needs to build relationship with are men, and it can be challenging. So just to give you an example, I remember when I started to progress in my career, I had a mentor who was almost at the same grade level as me. And he would advise me, oh, Bisola, if you want to, get promotions in this company, you need to hang out with people, where you need to hang out after work. It's not just about the work. But as a woman and a Nigerian, I'm asking myself, when I close from work, I want to go and cook for my kids and take care of them. It's not time for me to hang out, right? But the reality is, as we have more female professionals who can give women the relevant advice that they need to progress, it will make it easier. So definitely we need more role models. We need a lot more support system, a lot more flexibility in the workplace that allows the woman to be able to stay and to grow their career, is what I would say.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was so detailed and in-depth. And you even covered like 2 other questions I would have liked to ask. So thank you. All right, the next question. This is one of the major concerns that I think women have. I'm a woman also. So, and I have these concerns also, which is, as a leading woman in finance, how are you able to achieve work and family life balance? I think I'm going to even rephrase it. I'm going to say, how are you able to achieve work and life and family life synergy? Because I think the balance suggests a trade-off. And the truth is that we can't do without the other. So you can't totally say, oh, I just want to do work. You will miss the family. Neither can you say, I just want to do family. You will miss the work. So that means there has to be a synergy. Have you been able to do that? Because I'm struggling. When I even got married at first, this is true confession, I was depressed for a while because I'm like, okay, my stress level just increased. And I could not understand it. It took me a while to get my footing and to be able to fit in properly. So how have you been able to do this, please?
Okay, let me start by saying the first thing is I've been lucky. So I'm an accountant and I also got married to an accountant. And what that does is my husband understands what it takes to survive in finance. He understands that I'm going to have to work late hours. When I was in audit, he understood that I had to travel. I traveled to almost every country in West Africa when I was in the audit, right? So he understood all of those things. So the choice of your partner is important if you're someone who's going to get married. That doesn't mean you're going to marry an accountant, but it means you're going to have to, partner with or marry somebody who understands the challenges of your role. And you're also going to need to have conversations with them about it, right? So what I know that I would do with my husband is to have conversations to say, Sheon, my boss is already talking to me about a promotion. And if I'm going to get this promotion, it means I'm going to have to be outside of Nigeria, for a while. What do you think about it? Is this going to work? And if it's going to work, how are we going to make it work? So you need to have that honest conversation, because what would happen is you're going to have to start having friction. And oftentimes when that friction starts, like you said, then comes the depression and your inability to continue to thrive. In addition to that, make sure that you're getting all of the support that you need. And this is for the man and the woman as well. The finance role is a challenging role. Remember, when we have month end, sometimes it means that we have to sit in the office. I can't count the number of times I've slept at work, right, to close the books at the end of the month. Do you understand? So those things are challenging, whether you're a man or you're a woman. But make sure you're getting the support that you need. So for example, for me, all the time that I've been married and started having children, I've always had either my mom or my mother-in-law staying at my house. Because what I realized early was, if I'm going to be closing at 11, there was no way I would be leaving my children with strangers, right? So I reached out to them and I said, I really want my career to progress. I think I have the potential, but mommy, I'm going to need you to spend quality time with my kids. so that when I'm not there, I have someone who's trusted to be able to take care of them. So like I said, the first thing is, be careful if you're single and you haven't decided on who you're going to be on this life journey with. Choose carefully. Make sure you have the right conversations about what it would take for you to be able to build your career, and be sure that they're ready to go on the journey with you. Then make sure that you get all of the support that you need. I never had a chef, but I remember that when I became finance director of Pernod Ricard, I called my husband and I said, I would die. Can't come back at 11 p.m. and start cooking. I would, like, you're going to kill me now. So please, let me get a chef. Otherwise, I'm gone, And, after we had the conversations, we both agreed and we reached a compromise. So he said, yes, you would have a chef, but you still have to monitor what he does. You have to be there with him. And I'm like, great stuff. Guess what happened? The chef cooked for just one evening. And they all said, Mommy, don't cook again ever. Mommy, don't ever cook again, So, we were actually making really bad food for us before. So you can imagine, but if I didn't have that conversation, I would have continued to suffer. And at work, delegate. The first thing is make sure you have the right team reporting to you. You cannot have a successful finance career without the right team members. Choose your team members carefully. Make sure you empower them. Make sure you train them. And when it's time, make sure you're delegating to them so that you're not doing it all on your own. So get all the support you need, have the conversations that you need to have, and make sure that you're taking time out once you've delegated to also rest. We need that quality time to rest, to refresh, and to get back. So that's what my advice or my personal story has been.
Oh, thank you so much. In 1 minute, please just answer this question. Our time is fast spent, so we'll not be able to take more questions, but someone from the audience asked this question. Please, how do you know when it is time to move career-wise?
Well, I love that question because I have moved quite a lot in my career. It almost feels like I'm always moving. And this is how I know. If I'm not learning, then it's time to move. Okay, so that's the way that that's my benchmark every time. If I'm in a role and I'm no longer learning and it feels like now I know it all, I can do it in my sleep. Even when I'm sleeping and you ask me any question about that job, I can answer it. It doesn't feel challenging anymore. When I wake up in the morning, it just feels like, I'm just hanging out. Then it's time for me to move. And for me, it's not moving to a more senior role. It's not moving to another job that gives me more pay. It's moving to another role that gives me an opportunity to learn and to become a professional.
Thank you. I love your response. Thank you very much. As I said, our time is fast spent and we'll not be able to accommodate more questions. But please, if you have questions, drop it in the Q&A. I'm sure she'll be there to reply to your questions. Please make good use of this opportunity. This is the time for you to ask your questions, especially for females. Guys, you really need to make good use of this opportunity. It's not every day you get to have someone like her speak to you. So grab it, guys. All right, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks everyone for having me. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. I think I always respond to you, right?
Yes, you do. Actually, you do respond. And you're very prompt with it. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, so feel free to reach out to me. And thanks a lot for this opportunity, Toyin. Take care.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Okay. So I presume that we have learned at least one or two things. She personally answered a question I had in mind about work and family life balance. And I am sure that at least some of us have also picked one or two lessons from that. And we're moving on quickly. Yes, we are to have a testimonial from a season 5 graduate, and we have Sarah. Hi, Sarah. I'm about to profile quickly so that we can move.
Sorry, your background seems to be dark. Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I skipped out the educational qualification part. Apologies for that. So this is Sarah Nev, and she is in Taraba. She's a mid-level finance professional. Sarah has been very active in the academy from day one, always active on Instagram. When we share a post, she's always there to tell us our own opinion. So she's very consistent and intentional. So Sarah will be telling us quickly and briefly about our time at the Techy Accountant Academy. So Sarah, over to you.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Before I joined the Techy Accountant, I felt there was something I was lacking.
Okay.
I felt I didn't have enough value to give. So I was on the lookout. I felt I needed to update myself because my skills were kind of outdated. So I was looking out for a place where I could get all those things. And then I came across write-ups that stated that in few years to come, accountants will no longer have relevance because they'll be replaced by technology. And I began to wonder, what will be my fate? So when I came across the Techy Accountant, I was really happy because I knew I would get what I was looking for there. My experience in the Techy Accountant has been very, very, very good. I mean, we had lectures. These are not just usual online courses where you're giving courses and they leave you. Yeah.
Okay. I think there is a network problem on Sarah's end. Quickly, while I wait for her to catch up with us, I'm going to launch the poll right now, so you can check the poll session and just answer. So you can view the question and answer, please. It's just less than 1 minute, you're done. Thank you. And I think Sarah's network is steep. I think we need to move quickly. So if she joins us back, we'll bring her back. But now we have to move to the next speaker for today. Yeah. Trying to share his profile. Okay, I presume that everybody can see my screen. And we have Mr. Babajide Ibironke is our next speaker, and he will be telling us on how to align your skills for future trends. Sarah mentioned something saying that there was an article or something she read about accountants going extinct or something. So we're going to hear from someone that is quite experienced, and he will be telling us on how to align our skills for future trends. Quickly, let me run through his profile. Babajide Ibirunke is an award-winning CFO. That's Chief Financial Officer, for those that don't know, with almost 2 decades experience in finance, strategy, and general management roles in global land market positions across the world. Highly skilled and motivated finance and business professional with extensive experience and skills of over 10 years in budgeting, strategy and planning, reporting, operations finance, marketing finance, and financial accounting. He possesses exceptional organization management and team playing skills and has demonstrated experience in working with employees at various levels in the organization. He is a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants UK, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and a fellow of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, as well as holder of the ACCA Diploma in International Financial Reporting. He is currently a Global Council member of ACCA. He was elected as the chairman of the ACCA Nigeria Advisory Committee in July 2014. I hope that with this profile, you can see why he's the perfect person to tell us on how we should align our skills and hone it for future trends. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Babajide Ibironke. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can perfectly, sir.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to this program. I have learned quite a few things since I joined. Apologies, I'm on another program. I just had to excuse myself to start because the time given to me was a bit, it was 5:05, so I was really working with that timing. So if you accept my apology, I will just go straight into my presentation. I'll be very brief, and I will just be trying to explain to you key things that you need to know around the future of work and the difference between that and the work of the future. So I hope you get the difference between the two statements I made. So I'm going to be talking about the difference between the future of work and then the work of future. And I'm going to be restricting myself to the finance arena. I'll start with the story of what we did some 5 years ago. So I been representing Nigeria at the International Assembly of ACCA since 2012. And in ACCA, we have what we call a 5-year plan or strategy, if you like, that we always look at, every 5 years. When we're planning our strategy 2020, which expired last year, sometimes around 2014, 2015, we did one of the topic at that program. We call it future-proofing the finance profession. And what we did at that time was to ask ourselves a very important question, whether there will be a future for us as finance people in the world to come. And there are quite a number of other, works and survey that has been carried out by very, very popular consulting firms like McKinsey. Some of them have been done by Accenture. And they are wondering, everybody, just like you said in your earlier comment, that somebody was saying whether there'll be work for us in finance, in the future. So the future, the future proofing that we did for the profession around that time, about 5-6 years ago, two things came very clear to us in that conference. The first is that there will be need for technology in the future, and we were very clear also that there will still be need for finance in that future. What wasn't clear to us at that time was whether what the world we need in the future will be the finance professional with technology knowledge or technology expert with finance knowledge. It wasn't clear at that time. But today, what is clear is that digital transformation is one of the key conversations across every businesses at this time. So the amount that organizations are investing on technology are very significant, and the benefits are substantial. So we have seen the evolution of business model that has impacted on us as accountancy and finance professionals, from the way we collect, we verify, we utilize increasing volume of data. We have seen that business models are fundamentally shifting towards customer centricity. And as accountants and finance professionals, we need to be on top of this evolution, and we need to also ensure that our skill sets are developed appropriately. So the good news that I have for you today is that in that future that you talk about, our job as finance professional or accountant will never go into extinction, but rather our job profile will change. Everything or nearly everything that we do in our working lives or even private lives today is supported one way or the other by digital activities, all right? So we have digital adoption, and the extent of digital activities that we have today is increasing, and the balance between human and machine are continue to evolve. So we're seeing today many more and more, accountants or finance professionals having a handshake with technology. So only those accountants or finance professionals who cannot work comfortably with technology are probably going to go into extension. So the accountancy and finance professional cannot be ambivalent to the changes in the workplace. And that is what digital transformation brings. All right, so with the unique combination of our accounting and ethical principles, business acumen, and some digital skills that we have, the future for me, in my view, for the finance profession, the future is bright. And the unique ethical lens of accountancy and finance profession that we have, it provides us with a perspective that a few will have, but of course, it has substantial value